Luigi Locati was an Italian Catholic missionary and bishop. Born in the village Vinzaglio in northern Italy, he was ordained as priest on June 29, 1952. In the 90s, he came to Kenya as a missionary and worked as a parish priest in Isiolo. On December 15, 1995, he was appointed as vicar apostolic of the newly created Vicariate Apostolic of Isiolo, Kenya, and titular bishop of Zika. As a young Catholic, Luigi Locati had admired the work of his parish priest, and that admiration had planted in his young heart a burning desire to serve his Lord as a priest. 10 years later, Locati was posted in Kenya, where in 1963, as the nation brimmed with the expectations of self-rule after decades of colonization, he oversaw the coming of the Isiolo Catholic Diocese, part of the Greater Eastern Province. He mingled with the local population, learning their language and culture. Within no time, he completely blended in with the natives, having risen from priesthood to become the Bishop of Isiolo Diocese. Everyone loved Luigi Locati. On the night of July 14, 2005, Bishop Locati was walking home from the Isiolo Pastoral Center, where he had just had a scrumptious meal when a guardman pointed a G3 rifle at him from the cover of darkness and pulled the trigger. He was on target, the bullet shattering Locati's right shoulder, neck, and jaw. Doctors at an Isiolo hospital tried to save the bishop's life, but the damage was too much and he succumbed to his injuries. The country and the Catholic Church was shocked. Who would want a man of the cloth, a man of God, who had served the nation for 40 years dead? Who would want a bishop dead? President Moi Kibaki, the then president of the nation, attended Locati's burial on July 20th, 2005. He vowed to track down the killers and then went back to his laid routine. Behind the scenes, however, detectives were busy piecing together the evidence. On the day President Kibaki promised action, for instance, police arrested a priest in connection with the murder. A day earlier, they had arrested another local priest, and the linking of the diocesan priests with the crime astounded the nation. An online Catholic news portal reported that the killing might have been arranged by political enemies of Bishop Locati, who had been outspoken in the denouncing official corruption and black market profiteering. But after questioning several suspects, investigators turned their attention to priests who were unhappy with the bishop's personal decisions. The portal continued. Robert Kitur, an assistant police commissioner, told reporters that he was confident the investigations had produced enough evidence to solve the murder case. The two priests were Father Cyril Mukucho and Father Peter Guyo Wako. Father Peter Guyo had a few days earlier been forced out of a parish assignment because of complaints that he was squandering funds, while Mukucho had been involved in a dispute over the management of two schools that eventually were closed down on the bishop's orders. Archbishop Raphael Ndingi Mwananzeki, though stunned by the arrest, said he hoped that the law would take its course. However, police could not link Mukucho with the murder, and so they released the priest. A few days later, leaving Father Guyo Wako and his 6 co-accused to face a full trial. After 9 years of arguments and counter-arguments, Father Wako solemnly stood in a Nairobi dock, weather-beaten and aged. The judge made the final ruling on the matter. Justice Fred Ocheng, in a harsh and firm voice, said he had considered all the evidence tendered for the case and that he was satisfied that Father Guyo Wako, his co-accused Mohammed Molu Bagajo, Aiden Ibrahim Mohammed, Mahati Ali Halake, and Roba Bale Bariche conspired to murder Bishop Luigi Locati. 2 days later, Justice Ocheng ruled that the five should face a death sentence. As court sentries escorted the convicts to a prison van in Nairobi, a fresh earthen mound was beginning to settle 300 kilometers away in Isiolo. That mound was the final resting place of Father Wako's mother, who had collapsed and died a day earlier after learning of the guilty verdict against her son. The sixth co-accused, Dika Wario Mohammed, was released because the judge ruled he had not been involved in the plot to eliminate Bishop Locati, even though the evidence produced before the court indicated that the gun used to commit the crime had been obtained from him. In the judge's opinion, Dika was not physically present at the scene of the crime, and so there was a greater probability that he was not involved in the murderous plot. The judge further explained that even though Dika was said to have been the man who delivered the gun to Father Guyo Wako, who was accompanied by Bariche in exchange for 3,000 shillings at Merti Trading Center, he had convinced the court that he had been duped into the deal because the buyers had lied to him that they would use it to hunt ostrich. A total of 35 witnesses gave evidence during the trial, but the court relied heavily on the narration of witness number 16, a man named Isaac Abdi, who revealed that there had been another botched attempt to kill Bishop Luigi Locati. Isaac said Father Guyo Wako had earlier approached him and 5 others and offered them money to kill Luigi Locati. He said they had taken the money but had persuaded the rest that they did not need to go ahead with the mission of murdering the Isiolo bishop. The plot failed, but the rest of the gang was not happy with him. That is why, on the second attempt on the bishop's life, Isaac was left out. Bishop Locati had learned of the attempt on his life, and he had reported it to the Isiolo police station. Lead investigator Mohammed Amin identified Sora Salat and Osman Rindile as the ones behind the botched plan for a reward of 10,000 shillings from Father Peter Wako. The two, however, had not been arrested by the time the bishop was eventually killed, and so, in a way, their case was overtaken by events. The police had bigger fish to fry. In his ruling, Justice Ocheng said Father Wako was the mastermind and the financier of the plan. He had provided 50,000 shillings for the logistics and acquisition of the G3 rifle and ferried the gang to the bishop's residence. The amount had been provided in 2 installments of 30,000 shillings and 20,000 shillings, amounting to 50,000. However, Father Wako denied financing the gang, saying that even though he had withdrawn some money on the material day, it was for the purchase of desks for the local school. He said he had just withdrawn 42,000 shillings from the Nomads in Alliance Primary School bank account and was on his way to see a friend at the time the murder took place. That, however, did not convince the judge and to the gallows he was sent. Bagajo was found guilty of taking part in the planning, meeting, and receiving money meant to be payment for the dirty job. He was also the man who confronted Bishop Luigi's watchman on the evening of the murder and carried a club just in case. Aiden, on the other hand, played a major role in the accusation of the rifle and was armed with a pistol on the night of the attack. The murder weapon had been concealed in a sack full of charcoal in an Isiolo mission vehicle and transported to Father Peter Wako's house, from where he drove the gang to the bishop's residence. Halake took part in the planning and acquisition of the firearm before the attack. He was also paid for the mission and accompanied Father Wako to his house to deliver the gun when it was purchased. He was also present at the time of the crime. Bariche was the link between Father Wako and the rest, as he received payment from him twice, which he then distributed to the rest. He was also the one tasked with communicating the details of the mission to the rest of the gang, and was believed to be the one who fired the killer shots. The five, who have all along denied killing Bishop Luigi Locati, pleaded with the court to temporarily halt the execution of death sentence against them, and since the law allows an accused to appeal against a verdict on the first instance from the lower court, the judge granted their request. They had requested that the state provides them with lawyers to help them build up their defense at the appellate courts. But though determined to challenge their death sentence, photographic evidence presented in court suggested that they indeed were the ones who collaborated to kill Bishop Luigi Locati. The photo evidence included a sword, its sheath, and a wallet near a perimeter wall, which is suspected to have been the attacker's escape route. The status of the inside the pastoral center, where the bishop had his last supper, and a motor vehicle registration number KAG 146E with bloodstains, although no follow-up was done to determine whether it was human blood. The photos were presented in court by a state-appointed crime scene services officer with details on the scene of the crime a day after the murder took place. A report dated August 9th, 2005, with details of the firearms and ammunition that were recovered in connection with the bishop's murder case was also tabled by a firearms examiner. It revealed that a rifle, a pistol, a G3 rifle, magazine, 3 types of rounds of ammunition, 1 round of a misfired ammunition, and a spent cartridge were recovered. The post-mortem on Bishop Locati's body was conducted by the then government pathologist, Dr. Moses Njoe, on July 19, 2005. It stated that the cause of death was as a result of a gunshot to the head, neck, and shoulder that resulted to massive blood loss. According to Dr. Moses Njoe, the bishop succumbed to injuries to the back of the head and below the eyelid caused by a blunt object, and another on the palm caused by a sharp instrument. The pattern of gunshot wounds resulted from a single gunshot which entered through the right shoulder, exiting through the mild clavicular area, said pathologist Moses Njoe. It re-entered through the neck and exited through the left side of the cheek, shattering the jaw bones. The bullet tore the major blood vessels on the neck. Dr. Njoe explained that the injuries on the back of the head and the palm of the hand were evidence that the deceased was active and conscious when he was shot, which explains the pattern of the bullets. He explained that this bullet pattern and its re-entry would occur if the person was in an attempt to avoid the attack by turning away from the direction of the attack. He further explained that the injuries on the back suggested that he had been hit while standing, not lying down. Although it had not been possible to state the exactness of the sequence in which the injuries were inflicted, Dr. Njoe pointed out that there was no doubt that a powerful gun must have been used. The injuries on his knees and elbows also indicated a sign of struggle from the Catholic bishop, a clear indication that he was trying to fight for his life and his perpetrators as well. Each of the accused was arrested at different times and locations. Their statements were recorded on video privately in the presence of a magistrate, but they later told the trial court that they had been tortured by the police and directed on what to say. However, Justice Ochieng dismissed these claims, saying the three magistrates reported that each of them appeared to be in good health. Dika, Father Wako, and Bagajo appeared before Isiolo Senior Resident Magistrate Weldon Korir, now a High Court judge in Nairobi. Detectives had made sure that the accused recorded their statements on video, as they had claimed that they wanted to make confessions, and Justice Gorel warned them that the video recording would be used in the trial, but none of them was willing to back off. Lead investigator Mohammed Amin gave a breakdown of each of the accused role. Father Wako's vehicle was to ferry firearms. Bariche had promised to provide a rifle, which was used to kill Bishop Luigi Locati. Halake was to be armed with a pistol, and Bagajo a crude weapon. A forensic analysis of Bariche's phone revealed frequent communication between him and Father Wako. I have been your host, Lily's Rams. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to comment down below which story you would like to hear me giving. And do not forget to subscribe. See you on the next video.